Thank you for joining us today for Road Safety Audits, what they are and how to get started, created by the National Center for Rural Road Safety. This video is part 2 in the series, Road Safety Audits, Making Roads Safer. If you watched part 1, our introductory video in the series, you may now want more specific information about how RSAs work. This follow-up video is for tribal agencies who need more information about road safety audits before they make a final decision to conduct one. We've gathered experts who will answer the most common questions about what a road safety audit is, what it isn't, and what you need to do to get off to a good start. Our first question is, what is a road safety audit and who's involved?
Yeah, an RSA is really an independent safety review with a multidisciplinary team. We're really focusing on folks that oftentimes we don't incorporate into our process. Law enforcement, EMS, maintenance, designers, planners, engineers. And it really gives us a better picture of what really is happening on the roadway.
Besides being independent and multidisciplinary, what else is important about RSAs?
Yeah, conducting an RSA really is a cooperative effort. You need to have all the parties that have a stake in that roadway, that intersection. Make sure it's a cooperative effort rather than your effort to force them to go into certain ideas.
What sorts of things come up as common concerns about RSAs? And what would you say to address those concerns?
An RSA is not a tool to force a road user or a government agency into doing certain things. An RSA is a cooperative effort to look at how are things functioning, what could be improved, what could be enhanced.
Are there any common misunderstandings about RSAs that I should be aware of?
One of the primary ones is it's going to make me more liable and I'm going to get in trouble if we find out what's going on, rather than really use it as a performance safety tool to fix it. There's also a concern it's going to drive up costs or even delay projects. And generally we find that's just the opposite. It tends to speed them up, make them more secure.
In this table from the Tribal RSA Toolkit, we see some additional misunderstandings. RSAs are not a check of compliance with standards. They are also not a means of rating one design over another. And they are not a redesign of a project. Now that I understand more about what an RSA is, can you tell me why my tribe should consider one?
One of the things we've learned over time with regard to doing safety projects in the past is it felt like we were always missing some elements. Did we miss the guardrail that needed to go in, or did we have signage that needed to go in? And sometimes it felt as if we were missing those elements. And after talking about it internally and talking with our partners nationally, we came to the conclusion we really need to have an RSA to capture all the elements holistically. Bring in people from the outside who would see some of the things that we couldn't see anymore because we're too close to the problem. By doing that, and especially bringing experts from federal highways and other places, we really were for the first time able to capture every element, every safety element that possibly could be impacting a community, or in this case, a specific intersection that was being harmed.
I think an RSA can help my tribe. Can you describe the RSA process?
There's 8 steps that we look at with an RSA. Determine a location, build a team, have a startup meeting, go out, do field reviews, really review and distill that information, bring in preliminary findings for the owner, then they would respond to that and then implement the findings.
For more details about the 8-step process, please refer to the RSA Toolkit and additional videos in this series. If my tribe hosts an RSA, how will I know if it was successful?
The most successful RSAs are when you really have the buy-in from the project owner, you have and develop a good team and really come up with the recommendations from a multidisciplinary approach to incorporate those into the project and see those implemented. One of the really valuable parts of having this multidisciplinary approach is the engineers, designers, and planners really get a better feel for what the workers, what the folks that are out there dealing with the issues and the problems, and vice versa. It gives the law enforcement, your EMS, maintenance, a better understanding of the process of design and what some of the challenges are. So it really works out to build teams that go beyond just the RSAs.
We've found that conducting road safety audits can even help improve communication between partners that often don't talk to each other. So the result of an RSA could even be that now the enforcement knows who to contact when they see an issue that they need road maintenance to come out and help them with.
I assume that before I delve into the 8-step RSA process, there are other actions I must take first. Can you please describe those?
Anyone interested in safety really could call for an RSA and might be a champion for an RSA. Who's interested in making change? Who's interested in making the road safer? Really is an important thing. Obviously, it's important to get higher level involvement so you get that buy-in and are able to move forward on it. It could come from law enforcement, EMS. It could come from citizens complaining, or could come from leadership that are just really concerned about their community.
An RSA can be led by any department within a government. It's not necessarily that the planners and the engineers need to lead it. Oftentimes we even see the police officers seeing the value of this tool and seen it as a way to interact with those other stakeholders who have an element of the safety picture. And in some cases, law enforcement will actually be taking the lead and running the road safety audits.
I think the most important thing is you want to include the parties that have a piece in that pie. If it's a county road, a state road, tribal road, make sure you have all the players involved in it.
First, I need to impress on the council the need and utility of doing an RSA rather than just relying on their own view of what the situation is and some of the local thought.
First, we had to get the buy-in from leadership. We worked with our tribal council and the chairman's office to make sure they supported it. We worked with the Eastern Washington TTAP to make sure they could give us some technical support. And then our good friends at Federal Highways. They came out and were willing to give us not only technical support, but lead the discussion and bring their expertise into the room so that we can make sure we capture all of the issues concerning each different intersection.
When identifying funding sources, please refer to Table 5 in the RSA Toolkit. There you will find a list of potential funding sources that include the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Transportation Enhancements, Safe Routes to School, the Forest Highway Program, and Indian Health Services Injury Prevention Program. As part of planning an RSA, you should reach out to potential partners. These may include the state or local Department of Transportation, local or tribal technical assistance program, Federal Highway Administration's Division Office, or the other Federal Highway Administration offices listed here, as well as the National Center for Rural Road Safety. You can view tribal road safety audit resources here. I'm very interested and ready to get started, but my tribe doesn't have any data. Can I still do an RSA?
Even if you don't have good data, the important thing is you can still do an RSA. There's different ways of gathering information, whether it's interviews, talking to law enforcement, talking to the EMS or fire, talking to the locals. So just the fact that you don't have data doesn't mean you can't do an RSA. There's other sources. That's that multidisciplinary approach again really helps.
What benefits, information, or data will my tribe receive from an RSA?
The biggest value in hosting your own RSA is you get this wealth of knowledge from experts from all over the country, even local experts, who will focus on one area. They'll give you a report that tells you things you may not have ever known. You'll get alternatives that you may never have considered. That data you really can't buy. And an RSA gets you there.
Thank you to the following for taking the time to answer questions and provide insight about RSAs and how to get started. Craig Allred and Adam Larson, RSA Experts with FHWA. Kirk Vinish, Transportation Manager, Lummi Nation. Don Davis, Independent Transportation Planner, Kootenai Tribe of Idaho. Presented by the National Center for Rural Road Safety. Visit www.ruralsafetycenter.org to find out more about road safety audits and to stay informed of future trainings. Call 844-330-2200 to be connected with an RSA expert.